Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I would get the meeting started. It is now almost 6:05. I'm going to leave my screen off because I don't think you need to all see that I have a black eye from a bee sting this weekend. It's one of the job hazards I have, but I took a sting in the eye and my eye is swollen shut. So, anyways, kind of an update on our financials, and I appreciate everybody being here a little bit. Is it for veterans in farming? We have $50 in savings and $50 in checking. That was from a donation to start those account. We currently have a reoccurring cost. I'm looking after getting insurance so that if we have events, we're insured. Usually that's about a $1 or $2 million liability policy. And then our website through Wild Apricot is about $240 per month. So those are really the reoccurring costs. The expenditures are the $96 for Vistaprint. I sent some flyers and cards to John, who's going to go do some work in his area. I also want to, offer this as we'll talk in a little bit. Jim is on the line as well, who wants to start to do some outreach as the Southern Regional Director out there. So I want to enable Jim to go and get some flyers and some other things as well in the future. We did put a down payment on a tablecloth and sign for Farm Aid. Both of those together was about 256 for half the cost and waiting on the other half of the cost to come through. Plus, it'll probably won't be exactly half because we're going to do the nonprofit forms with them as well. But one of the things is we don't have like a tablecloth or sign. Farm Aid is a great opportunity that Sarah developed for us, and I'll let her talk to that in a minute. But that's where 256 and 82 went to. That also includes a requirement was insurance for Farm Aid. We got a hose for Jack's Farm. We got some lumber from Lowe's to build benches and tables for some of the farms. We have a veteran that was willing to spend some time and do that for us. And so our credit card balance, not including all those things, because some of them are pending, is about $342. I'm going to work through in the next week or so the dues email, how we're going to do the $5 per year due, just to make sure people are active. And then I'm going to try to put on the front of the Wild Apricot site a donation tab for anybody that wants to donate. Just gets a little complicated when you start getting into PayPal and other things. So we'll talk about the Farm Aid in a little bit, but again, it was a great thing I think that Sarah's doing for us. And agribility will actually be at a separate table, so we'll have a lot of overlap there. John, did you want to talk about the partnership grants you're working on with Sarah at all?
Figure out how to unmute myself. So, been working on the Sarah grant to get us some money to do the micro learning. I'm about 75% done with that. We won't know until next year if we get the grant. So, and if we do, then it's gonna be able to provide veterans time for setting up the farm, getting it ready, pay for travel. And then the other thing that I'm working on is working with the VFW, trying to get the word out and trying to get some donations from the different posts, depending upon what they are. Over.
Well, that's fantastic, John. And on that note, I had an outreach by the veterans of Madison County. Jack's Farm is in Madison County, and I'm going to coordinate with them and see if they can help us at Jack's Farm as well with some funding. And then as we develop lists of needs, I may also send them to the Vietnam Veteran Association, where our VSOs are working with to get some money of that. So although the numbers look kind of high, our expenditures versus what we have for assets, I think there are some opportunities there. We do have I did have an outreach, I think I mentioned last time, from Indiana State Department of Ag on a marketing grant. So the marketing grant is kind of a grant that Yeah, she was on last time. So the marketing grant for us would be something between the fence to the fence of the farm to the table, and we're kind of working with ISDA on how to shape that. We still have our USDA Equity and Conservation Outreach Grant pending. USDA just has not made that decision yet, and Will Fed is committed to tell me as soon as that comes through or doesn't come through the status on it. And then I will talk more about the other grants on the next one. Sarah, while we have you, did you want to give a little update on the two veteran farms, Porter Farm and Jack Farm?
Sure. So the veteran farm, Porter Farm in Danville, Miranda and Michelle are still there working. Nothing too exciting going on there. I'm not sure. They're still growing vegetables in the front. They've planted pumpkins. They're hoping to do a fall festival. So we'll see if they can get that all put together. And then the Jack's Farm in Anderson, we were able to get a little bit started there. We've got a small garden planted, and then talking about and starting areas to do additional gardens in the spring. And then right now that it's cooling off, we're actually looking at finding permanent places for putting trees and berries and additional gardens and additional areas for veterans to work there. I know Joe talked about, this farm is really geared towards allowing veterans to just come and experience farming and agriculture, and then also to try out different types of activities. So it's not focused on making money. It's not teaching business skills, which is more the focus of the Danville farm. So I think that's really good to have a couple different options for veterans, and they're in different locations. So we don't have money to develop yet. So hopefully either some grants, or if we do some fundraising to put some actual money into the farm. And then Joe actually met with the Purdue Extension today and talking about a project that they could support. And so they're talking about putting in a pollinator planting out at Jack's Farm. So we'll start making those plans this fall, and then hopefully put that in the spring. So if anybody has any questions or wants to go out and spend some time at either of the farms, just let Joe or I know, and we'll definitely make that happen.
Thanks, Sarah. And the only thing you missed, Sarah, was that the chickens are actually producing out of Jack's Farm.
I didn't hear that.
Oh,
They started laying?
Yeah, they
Oh.
started laying. So I assume they're probably laying, since it's the same age as the ones at Porter Farm as well.
Yeah, I haven't been over there for a couple days because they're out of town, but they weren't laying yet, so I'll have to check. So
Yeah, Krista got a couple eggs from them, and also they do Purdue Extension did mention to me, and I know I didn't mention to you that they do a fall kind of chicken give out for the 4-H's and FFAs, and I did put our name in the roster for more chickens as well if we want.
Yeah, we don't have room for that because the problem is they've come with 50% roosters, and I already have an additional like 15 roosters from the last batch that we got. So
okay, well,
if anybody wants a bunch of roosters, let me know.
They don't lay as good an egg, right?
No, they sure don't.
So as Purdue comes back to me with that opportunity, I will definitely throw it out there to the group and see if anybody wants some free chicken.
Or we can help you teach processing with the roosters you have.
Yeah, they're just production hen roosters, so they're going to be crazy skinny. So, I mean, it'll teach you how to process, but I don't.
It'll all make soup.
What?
It'll all make
Absolutely.
soup.
Yes, exactly.
They told me they were hybrid meat and egg, but I guess they just ended up a bit thin. We can see how I want to do the next one, Leslie, but I'm more than happy to do that up at Jack's farm. If you want to come up here as well and do that sometime, even if it's a thin chicken and worth your while. Hey, so going on from there, so some of the opportunities we still have working around are the Soil and Water Outcome Fund. If anybody's seen that, that extended to the entire state of Indiana now. And I don't know if we have had any takers on that. We still have the conference scheduled for January 19th through 21 at Fair Oaks Farm. You kind of saw the agenda last week. If anybody wants to see a copy of it, let me know. I'll start working through that. The cost is kind of pending only because we don't have a decision on the Ag Vet grant coming or being renewed in Indiana yet. We hope to get that in the next 30 days, but there is a gap of hopefully less than 30 days for USDA to come back officially on the Ag Vet grant. So if you know anybody doing the Ag Vet grant, right now it's on pause and Linda Tarr has been sending out email on that. And then also, as always, you'll see through the Farmer Veteran Coalition sites, as well as the Agribility sites, that the Discrimination Financial Assistance Program is out there as well. So some of the upcoming discussion points, like I mentioned, the Ag Vet grant status is in limbo. I think it may be an opportunity if Hoosier Upland does not get it, or if we want to compete for it next year. There's two grants, the Ag Vet grant and the 2501, that we may be able to go after next year for veterans in farming. And so everybody knows, we do this under what we call Operation Groundwork and supporting the two farms. Sarah's been using that for Porter Farm for many, many years. So we go under Operation Groundwork, and we'll see this season. Most of the grants for agriculture start opening up October, November timeframe, and gives us farmers a little bit of winter to do stuff. I also have a new veteran up at Jack's farm, Josh, great guy, and he's going to consider putting in for the looking at some details on the specialty crop grant for doing some aquaponics up there, or hydroponics up there. So we'll see how that develops, and John and I will stay nested together on that, and hopefully something comes through funding wise for all those. But again, financially, we may look in the hole, but we're not horribly in the hole. So we do plan on Jack's Farm doing a veterans event on November 11th. The veterans of Madison County up there have offered to help us support that a little bit. I think you'll find through your experiences when you go out, a lot of the veteran organizations are looking for younger people to be involved in them. So I'd offered partnering with them a little bit. And if they don't, I think it's just going to be a light picnic day and the opportunity for people to kind of collaborate and meet, just relaxed, and do that. Sarah, did you want to talk a little bit about what you've done for Farm Aid and the great job you have going on there? Okay, well, I'll
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I was talking. I didn't realize I was on mute. Can you come back to me in like 2 minutes? I've got to quick respond to something for work. Real
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna have a weekly Wednesday coordination meeting for Jack's Farm, probably do it by Zoom or in person. So we have probably about 6 or 7 vets in the Madison County, Hancock County area up here that are interested in doing work at Jack's Farm. So to kind of make sure everybody's synced on tasks, we're going to probably do either a Zoom meeting or an on-site coordination meeting, probably on Wednesdays as well. Probably more on Zoom or phone, and I'll invite everybody to that. And really, that's just to make sure that somebody's digging a hole that has a purpose to put a tree in it, or they're digging a hole that doesn't hit a power problem or something else. So really looking at this fall, accelerating Jack's Farm a little bit. You know, right now, Chris has done a great job and put in some plants in the garden. We have the bees and the chickens there, and then there's just numerous other opportunities that we need to capsize up there. Tim has graciously done an assessment for us. Tim Four, who's on there, graciously done an assessment to try to get the barn up to standards on power, as well as the house. So hopefully we'll have some good fall work to have an excellent spring up at Jack's Farm. So I'm gonna have, I think it's 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, a conference planning meeting. So opposite of this meeting, there'll be 1 week off, and then we're gonna start to re-engage on a conference planning meeting the third Wednesday. I'll send that out via email as well, just so everybody knows. But that is going to be focused on, you know, the topics of the conference and the support for the conference January 19 through 21. I understand the faces may change from the initial planning because not everybody's available, but we'll do our best and see how that works. Tim, did you want to talk a little bit about the electrical status at Jack's Farm and how we're going to do that, or do you want to wait till next month after you get the estimates together?
We got a direction. You're going to flip a switch. Lights are going to come on. You'll be able to plug in wherever you want. You'll have power. Simple as that.
That is awesome, Tim, because we can't do that right now.
That's funny.
So go ahead, Sarah.
I'm back, Joe.
Not unless you want to ride a lightning bolt.
That does not sound like fun. Okay, so real quick, on the 23rd of September, we have an opportunity to go to Farm Aid. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. It's a big nonprofit that tries to bring in the community and educate about farm issues, land protection. Willie Nelson is one of the big pushers of that. And then a lot of musical talent is there, which does concerts. And then they have an area where it's like an educational area to kind of show the participants and the people that are attending to what is going on in agriculture and different types of nonprofits and different opportunities in there. It's not a typical like table with brochures. It's actually a hands-on kind of booth. So we're actually going to, Cindy Chastain will be there. I will be there. And then Michael O'Gorman from FEC, the founder of FEC, is going to be at the table. And then Randy Ryan, who works with Michael, he's also going to be talking. Our big focus for the table is just education on farming options and veteran outreach options for veterans in farming, both nationally and then also in the state of Indiana. This is really exciting. This year, it's one of the first years in a long time that Farm Aid has been in Indiana. So it should be exciting because there's a lot of local people there, a lot of local opportunities. If you guys are interested in going, definitely let us know. There's some scholarships that will help do cost assistance, but the tickets are pretty expensive. I want to say they're like over $100. And we do not have any financial assistance, unfortunately, through Indiana veterans. But if you're interested in going or you want to spend some time out there, let us know. We'll see what we can do. But it should be a good time. It will be a great way to get our name out there, as well as kind of further the cause for veterans in farming, both through informally FEC and then formally through our nonprofit. Another great thing with this is at the end of the conference or the program, they get collections from the people or donations, and they split them up between all the nonprofits. And so those will be given directly to Indiana veterans in farming. So that'll be hopefully a way to make some money.
Sarah, if I could just add, I'm gonna I'm gonna be there for the Bloomington Farm Stop, but the tickets, they
Perfect.
have bond tickets that are like 70 something, and you can ask for a discount if you're coming with Vets and Farming. They have discounts for those tickets as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for all the tickets, but I just started out with the cheapest ones. So
Yes, absolutely. I think you have to, I think it closes the end of the week, or it might already be closed.
Where
for
is
those
this?
discount
Is
ones.
this in Indianapolis, Sarah?
Nope, it's in Noblesville at the big arena.
The
Ruoff.
Ruoff Center.
If Ag Vets gets approved, do you know if we can use those funds for farm aid?
You know,
I don't know
I-
if Joe would
is,
know that.
it is probably unlikely that they'll get approved in time. And I
Okay.
think for an entertainment venue, they would probably have a little bit of consternation over it, just to be fair. But if it does get approved, I'm more than happy to ask the question. And then Agribility will also be there with a lift assist tractor and some hands-on stuff as well. So, you know, I do have connections or contacts with the farm aid team. So if anybody is financially hindered or really wants to go and can't get a ticket, by all means, please let me know through email, text, carrier pigeon, Facebook, whatever, and we'll do our best to try to get you there. So, okay, no, that was super. And then one other thing, and I really appreciate Jim, you're awesome to offer this up. Jim Harrod offered to be a regional captain for the South and had some plans to try to synergize the farmers that are veterans down in the South. And before I have Jim talk, I just want to, give you a little bit of perspective on this. And that's that, I think farming is very local. And I also think that it's very difficult as a state to kind of capture everything in the state and the nuances and then support it. So really, I think when we started this Veterans in Farming, our goal was to enable people regionally to do great things. So Jim, did you want to express any of your ideas or thoughts on that? Jim, I see you're off mute, but I don't hear you. I saw you go on mute and then off mute, but I still don't hear you, Jim. All right, well, Jim might be having some connection problems. If he pops on or throws something in the chat, I'll bring it up. But he wants to really enable he's down by the Louisville area, the southern tip of Indiana, and really wants to enable everybody. So you'll probably see next month some expenditures on giving him a package of stuff as well. And we are very open to anybody who wants to do the northeast, south, the northeast or west as well. I love doing this, and I think the important thing is it's not just Joe's show. Joe wants to be able to walk away from this and know that we have a really solid organization that will sustain in Indiana. So that starts with people volunteering and people helping out. I appreciate all those like Jim and I know I won't name enough of people that have volunteers, but the more of us that help out and stuff, the better off we are. And I think that for some of the newer farmers, veteran farmers, the other good thing, um, is just that I'm sorry, I read Jim's chat. The other good thing for veteran farmers is it really gives you an experience and exposure. So although you may not be 100% ready or feel like you're the best farmer to be a regional captain, I think I think for a new farmer, it helps you kind of understand and collaborate with other farmers. So, hey, Jim, it would take me probably a while to dig up that email, so I'm unable, I'm not going to be able to jump on that. Lastly, I welcome any comments on the website. So I think it's important that when Sarah goes out to Farm Aid, we've ordered, like the previous, you'll see a display and a tablecloth for that with Farm Aid. It is QR code driven. So by QR code driven means that you don't have any flyers to hand out. So I would really like to have any comments from anybody on the website. I've logged into the website so many times, and I have no more emails that I can play with to test with unless I start kicking myself out of the systems. But if anybody goes into the website and has comments, I really would like to make sure that it is fresh looking for Farm Aid, and that people that come to Farm Aid and use that QR code have the opportunity to get everything out of veterans in farming that they can. So I'm going to just put up the screen for the next meeting is October 4th, and then just going to go around the horn and see if anybody has any thoughts or comments. Thomas G, you got anything, Thomas?
No, nothing for me. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Miss Amanda Parker, thank you for joining us today. You got any thoughts or comments?
No, this was so exciting just listening to all of the updates and things that are going on. I love it.
Okay, thank you. And maybe we get you out to the farm in Anderson soon as well.
I'm excited. I want to see the chickens.
Absolutely. They're much safer than the bees.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, Alan Fuhr, I see your autopilot's on. Any thoughts, Alan? Okay. I'm gonna move it over to John Antil. John, any thoughts or comments as our treasurer? We're gonna work on that treasurer report. That's my snafu for not connecting it and just getting the accounts.
Hey, it's still good, Joe. Also, if any of the farms want rabbits, I can do a breeding trio so they can start doing rabbit meat and rabbit fertilizer for their collection.
Oh, that's great. We did talk about that at a meeting 2 meetings ago, with Leslie as well. Sarah, I know you're coming to the farm up here, Jack's Farm, tomorrow. Did you want to give some thoughts to rabbits or putting a few on there? Sarah's probably on the line. I'll mention it to her, but I think rabbits, between you and Leslie, we have a unique expertise there, and we'd love to get more rabbits understanding on rabbits. Thank you. Jim, if you're able to talk, you're welcome to provide comment. Okay. Hey, Brad and Rachel, I see you're on. So just everybody knows, Brad is joining me at Agribility as a DoD skill bridge person. I think that starts in October or November. Is that right, Brad? Okay. Probably can't come off mute either. So, okay. So yeah, Brad's going to join us, and he's a new veteran farmer in Indianapolis area, currently looking for a farm, and you'll probably see more of Brad in the coming months when it comes to Agribility as well. Joe Rourke, my twin with more hair. Any thoughts or comments?
Great work you guys are all doing, and thanks for all of this. One thing I thought we had somebody that was interested in being a coordinator for the Northwest, but maybe that wasn't. Maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe something has fallen through. Is that ringing any bells, Joe, or anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. We had two volunteers. We had Craig Stevenson up in the Northwest, and then we had John Schasberger in the center. just hasn't taken traction, and thank you for the reminder. I'll shoot Craig a note and see if he wants to grab on to doing something up there as well. Maybe we'll start with Jim and see how we develop that. I have had offers for people to provide luncheons to kind of start, and maybe we'll just feel out the water with Jim while Craig's kind of getting his feet wet.
Sure. And if I need to, go around and beat the bushes a little bit, I'm happy to. It's not something I can take on myself, but I'm happy to encourage or help in any way I can.
No, hey, thanks, Joe. Leslie, I see you're still on.
Hi, well, I'm actually almost passing Anderson on 69, coming down from Ossian where I was getting a tour of Buskirk Engineering. They make pelletizing machinery and mill machinery. And so just put a little, thought out there that this is a really interesting way to think about value add for farmers. And something that is really quite affordable. Their machines are, and they're made right here in Indiana. So I'm just really excited about it and about the possibilities. Sorry?
Yeah, no,
Hello?
I agree. I think, yeah, I'm with you, Leslie. I think there's some interesting things in Indiana. Actually, I got beehive, they call them hive butlers, and those are made in Westfield. So you'll be passing that in the next 10 minutes as well.
Yeah, I think Buskirk also does a bunch of bee supply stuff. I'm not really, don't know much about that side of their business, but yeah, but the pelletizing machines, like, it could be really interesting for veteran farmers to think about value add for their stuff. So the other thing is that Lucy Reina is going to come to the farm on Thursday, and we're happy to host people who are down in that area, in the Owen County area, who would like to, come out and lend a hand for a day or just see stuff. Always happy to have visitors.
Oh, that's super, Leslie. I appreciate that. I think there are a lot of veterans who could use the exposure to what you guys got going on out there.
Yep.
Hey, Tammy, not last or least, probably most important because you're our brains of the operation. Any comments or thoughts?
No, it was a good meeting. Thank you for all the updates. Also, on a more administrative note, I had thoughts about meeting minutes, but we can talk about that offline, Joe, and then we'll bring it up to the group later.
Okay, super. No, that's fantastic. Oh, great. And then Jim, I'm sorry, Harrod also mentioned that if anyone wants to come to his farm, which is much further south than Leslie's, he's open to that as well. And I would throw out there, I think I know most veterans are open to farm visits like me out in Wilkinson, south of Anderson. And I know I've talked to Doug Weddle, the bison guy. So anybody's pretty open. And Jim says he's down by the New Albany area. So did I miss anybody who's on the line? Okay, I appreciate everybody's time. I think a monthly meeting is always good. I will continue to post this on Zoom for the record for anybody that wants to see it later on. I'm sorry, post it on YouTube for anybody who wants to see the Zoom record later on. So I'll stand by for a couple minutes if anybody has questions or comments. And everybody have a great evening.
Thank you.